Doilies, welcome to Faces of Lace. I'm your host Lacey, and thanks for tuning in today. We're gonna dive right into some play pretties, as my Granny Holland would say, and we're just gonna kind of get to know each other. I am not professionally licensed in beauty. I have never been to school for any of this. This is just homemade filming and just my opinions and how I do things. The reason that I'm doing YouTube videos or sharing my thoughts with anyone about beauty is that about a month ago I had a dream that I believed was from God, and I've never had a dream like that before. And I was sitting in a dark blue room alone with just a spotlight on my face, and on the viewfinder on the camera it had 7M in the bottom right hand corner. And I took that in my dream to mean 7 million, as in followers, subscribers, whatever you want to say. And I was rubbing oil all over my face, which I would never ever do because I would break out and be one big zit. But I took that to mean that he was anointing this for me. I also kept hearing the word masses over and over, and it just so happens that things have really changed in my life in the last week, and now I'm free to do videos, and it all just kind of worked out. Whether beauty relates to any of that, I don't know. We're gonna see. I'm just gonna trust God and go forward. Just stay tuned to learn more about my tips and tricks, and hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Hey Doilies, so we're gonna do a get ready with me. This is basically the steps that I take and the way that I do things. So if you have any questions or comments or anything, just leave them at the end, and I'll be happy to answer those as soon as possible. So first, I do my number 7, Protect and Perfect Intense Advanced Serum for my eyes, because I'm over 30 and I need anti-aging cream. I do my eyes and I do around my mouth, because even though I'm not a smoker or anything, I make a lot of facial expressions and I want to prevent lines around my mouth as much as I can. So anti-aging serum's done, and now I'm gonna do my Lorac I'm So Sensitive Soothing Face Primer. Pretty sure you guys know how to do primer, right? Okay, so that's done, and now I'm gonna go in with my Shadow Insurance by Too Faced. I know some people do their foundation before they do their eyeshadow, but I like doing my shadow first so that the fallout doesn't fall on my foundation and have to redo it. So I'm gonna do this again off camera, but you just put it all over your eyes. Now I'm gonna go in with the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette, and I'm gonna use the color Safe Word. So Safe Word is a neutral color that I'm going to use for my transition color. And I'm just going to use my finger to put that all over my lid. I know a lot of people use certain brushes, but for the transition color, I just really feel like it's not necessary to use a brush. And honestly, sometimes my finger makes things more even. So now I'm going to go to the Urban Decay Electric palette. And I'm gonna start with the color Urban, which is the middle purple color. I'm just gonna use the brush that came with the palette. You can use a different brush if you want. So before I go to the purple color Urban, I'm gonna go with the brush and spray my MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus setting spray onto the brush itself. And just so y'all know, I use the damp towel, just the one that I use for my shower, to wipe my makeup on and to spray against, just so it doesn't get everywhere. So when I look down, that's what I'm doing. So now that my brush is damp with the setting spray, and setting spray is important, I'm going to go into that color. This is when I'm going to create my wing. This time I'm going into Chaos, which is the blue on the left. And I'm just gonna make a rainbow stripe. Do you see how blue and pigmented that is? Jeez. Okay. Then I'm gonna blend it with my finger again. Okay, so I blended that out. It takes a while, but you can do it. They're waiting for my husband. They're so excited that he's coming home. He's only been at work today, I promise. Next, I'm gonna go into the same palette, and I'm gonna go into Savage, which is this pink, hot pink color, with, again, the fat end. And you can spray it again if you need to. And use a light hand on this part. You can get firmer as you go, but I don't want a big chunk at the top. I want it kind of even, so it doesn't take as long to blend. And then just blend it again with your finger. And you're gonna have to go back and forth. I know some people do the windshield wiper motion when they're doing their transition color. That doesn't work for me because my eyelid does this. So the last color I'm gonna do is Gonzo. And again, I'm gonna spray my brush with Fix Plus. I'm just gonna go right in the middle because that lighter color is gonna brighten the eye. So just blend that out, and then the last color is Revolt, which is the silver up on the left. And I'm going to use the smaller end of the brush. And again, you can spray with Fix Plus and go over the blue. And don't worry if everything is not completely blended yet, because I'm going to show you a trick in a minute. So same thing on the other eye. So you want to put a thin coat of it over the blue, and then I go back with the fatter end of the brush and do it again, just to make it brighter. I'm going to go back in with the small end of the brush with Revolt, and I'm going to do the inside of my eye. If you're not somebody that likes bright colors and glitz, just stick around and I'll do some neutral videos also. So the trick to making this look really smooth is to take a mini beauty sponge and leave it dry, and you're just gonna go over it. Just blend it all together. So that's gonna lighten the sheen of the silver, but it's also, it's kind of gonna look like shimmery tulle. So you're gonna look like a fairy princess. That's what I want. I don't know about you. And it doesn't matter if it gets all over your face, because again, we haven't done foundation. So that's what I'm gonna do for my eyes for now. Now we're gonna do foundation. And I just want to address the elephant in the room before we even start foundation. I have a hormonal imbalance, as I'm sure many of you do, and I have to shave daily like a man. So I'm not going to wait for the negative comments. I already know that I'm going to have a shadow, but we're going to cover that. I'm going to show you, whether you're girls or boys, I'm going to show you how to cover your shadow effectively, and then we're going to contour. I take the Kat Von D. This is my favorite foundation. It's very full coverage, almost as full coverage as Dermacol, but it's very, very full. This is light 45 neutral is my color, in case you're wondering the color spectrum. So 46 would be darker, 44 would be lighter. And I'm just going to take about 5 pumps on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to use a stippling brush. This is the Tarte double-ended foundation and contour brush. Okay, so I'm going to start on the bottom. I always do. Because for me, trying to cover, I just really want to let this dry and go back over it again. You can use a brush, or you can use the damp beauty sponge, which is what I also use a lot. Or sometimes I use this and then I go over it with the beauty sponge. And don't worry about around your eyes, because we're going to blend that out in a minute. I do all the way into my hairline, because I hate makeup lines. This is my ultimate favorite. It's new to me, but this is my favorite thing on earth. And again, I love Kat Von D, so I love anything she puts out. But the cream contour palette is the bomb. Like, this is my favorite item. I'm gonna go in and use Woodland. I use 2 beauty sponges so that I have one for foundation and one for contour. So I use different colors just so I can tell them apart. So I'm gonna use my contour sponge and go in, and I'm gonna start at the top of my ear right here and go where your cheekbone's supposed to be. If you're a big girl like me, you can't normally see it, so you can either go like this or suck your cheeks in like a fish. And I just dab, because if you try to smudge, it's gonna be chunky. Dabbing is always a good option. And then I'm gonna go up to my forehead and make a widow's peak. I already have one. If you don't, though, you can make one. And I usually only have to go back into my palette one more time for the other half. So again, I'm cutting from the ear down. Don't go all the way to your mouth, but you're going toward the corners of your mouth. Okay, so I've finished out the other side of my face. I'm just gonna go in with what's left on my sponge. Don't go back into the palette or it'll be too dark. Then I'm gonna do my jawline. So stick your jaw out like bubble gum and just do your actual jawbone, like right on the bottom. And you don't have to press very hard for this part. And I just make a corner to kind of cut the jaw. Then I take the bottom of my sponge and blend it out on my neck. So now I'm going to go back with my Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer. The only reason that I really adore this one is because of the applicator. It's pointed, so you can really get a sharp line, which I love for the wings and for cutting the cheeks. Then I just fill this part in a little bit with more concealer. And you don't have to do this if you have good skin. I'm only using one side of the beauty sponge right now because I'm going to turn it over to blend out the harsh lines in a little bit. Now I'm going to take my contour brush, the Kat Von D contour brush, the new one. This has like a flat edge, but it's, can you see that? It's skinny, so you can use it for lots of things. But I like this one. This is the number 5 brush. My favorite translucent powder is the number 7. I like it because it's hypoallergenic and it doesn't break me out. So I'm going to cut the cheeks and bake that section. I use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. If you can see that. I don't want to use Fix Plus on this because you don't want your contour to be stuck where you put it. You want to be able to blend it. So just spray my brush, and then I'm going to go back into the Kat Von D Cream Contour Palette. And I'm going to go to the color Spice, which is this bottom left one. And I'm gonna contour my nose because I am that person. I don't like my nose. I have these bulges on the side and I don't have very much cartilage in the front, so it's kind of bubbly looking to me. I look like a cartoon. So I'm just gonna go in and draw lines where I want my nose to narrow. So however thin you want it to look, that's where you're gonna go. And use a pretty light hand on this. until you know where you want to be. I go around the nostril, and so I want the bulk of the color to be in this corner, and then I'm going to blend up. Not all the way up to the eye. You can do that with powder, it's a lot easier, but with the cream, if you do that, it's going to make your eyes look kind of sullen because the corners of your eyes are going to be dark and you don't really want that. Whatever we mess up, we can fix with concealer. Some people do this V design. If you have long nostrils, you can do the bottoms, like right here. I don't really do a lot of that because my nostrils aren't that big, and my nose pushes up anyway, so I don't really do the contour on the bottom, but you can if you want. If you do this part, just make sure you don't round it because then you'll look like a bowl. Then I'm gonna go back with my contour sponge, and you're gonna blend it out. Just don't go on the middle of your nose yet, but you want to get most of this. And just dab on the parts that are small. And then I'm going to go back with my foundation sponge and go over the big parts. And then I want to take the tip of my sponge, or you can take your small one again and blend out the corner of the eye if you did get some contour in there, because again, you don't want that to be dark. So as you can see, it went on really dark, but once you blend it out, it's not really that dark, and we're not done yet. So I know you've been thinking this whole time that my shadow is pretty messy. That's because, like I said, we're gonna go back with concealer and cut everything. So we cut the cheeks already, we blended that, and now we're gonna cut the eyes. So I cut that, and then this is where I'm going to go down and make the V under the eye, because you want under your eyes to look lighter so that you look awake. So now I'm going to take my Kat Von D contour brush again, and I'm just going to blend all this. Make sure that you don't go into your shadow. So this part you want to blend, but you don't want to scrape your shadow off. So I just dab. So that you get a really sharp wing. So I'm also going to take this onto my forehead where my T-zone is, because your contour probably came too far down whenever we did it. And you want your T-zone to be lighter. So now I'm going to go back in with my translucent powder, and I'm going to bake. So we already baked the cheekbones. We're going to bake under the eyes and the forehead. So I bake my forehead because I have deep wrinkles from making facial expressions. So if you don't know what baking is, a lot of you have already experienced it or done it, but some people that are beginners may not know, so I'm going to go over it a little bit. Baking is where you take a thick layer of translucent powder and put it wherever you don't want to look wrinkly. And the reason they call it baking is because when you put that thick of a layer of powder on, your natural body heat actually does bake it into those creases. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows while that's baking. I use the Benefit Precisely My Brow pencil, and I'm a medium brown, which is number 3. Number 1 would be blonde, number 6 would be black, or very, very dark brown. The one end has a spoolie brush, the other end has a very fine tip brow pencil. So I go in on the outside of my pupil, and that's where I make my arch, if you want an arch. And I'm gonna go to the end where my shadow ends. I do a dark line on the top, and then on the bottom, I sort of use a lighter hand. Then I turn over the spoolie brush and brush down to blend this all in. Then I brush up. Use a pretty light hand when you're doing this part. If you're using the Precisely My Brow, you really need to use a light hand because you don't want to create really, really dark, bushy brows. Or maybe you do. That's up to you. And I just kind of go over it one more time, lightly, to blend it. Some people take the tip of the Precisely My Brow and they make brows, I guess, like right here. I can't do that because it's just going to look really thick. So what I do is I just shade the top part. Kind of like that. It doesn't matter if you're out of bounds. Then take your spoolie brush and just kind of go like that lightly, just with the tip of it. Don't go with the whole thing. That's going to create the illusion that you have brows, but you want the inside of your brow to be a little bit lighter. The arch should be the darkest part and then lighter on the tail. And then just shade any areas that you feel are a little bit sparse. Then I'm going to go back into my Kat Von D cream contour palette. Back into this spice color on the corner. I'm just going to go over that a little bit. Okay, so if you're like me and you have one brow that's really easy and the other one that wants to be difficult every single day, you can take a small flat angle brush like you would do your wings with, and you can use concealer or you can use one of the lighter contour colors in the palette. I use concealer. I'm just going to put that on the back of my hand. Just one little swatch, that's all you need. Then take your brush, and it's dry, you don't spray this time. And just barely get a little bit on the end of your brush. And we're going to go underneath. And yeah, we still haven't done that top shadow yet, so it's okay. Okay, so the camera messed up, so I'm gonna go back and do the brow highlight. So I'm using Becca's Moonstone highlighter. So the camera cut out, that's why I have one lash, because I was already that far before we realized it. So the lashes that I used today, this is the first time I've used these. These are the Kiss Lash Couture Faux Mink collection, and the name of these is Midnight. And these are pretty close to my natural lashes with mascara on. They're just a tiny bit longer. And I make sure that I cut my lashes to the same length my lashes really are. So from the inner corner of where my lashes start to the outer corner. But I really don't go all the way to the last lashes over here, because then it's going to hang down and make you look sleepy. By the way, when you cut your lashes, make sure you cut from the outer corner, not the inner corner. So just apply a very thin layer of glue. So they have tools for this, but I just use my tweezers. And I pinch on the outer part first. And again, I don't go all the way to the corner of my eye. I just go right before my last few lashes. And I attach that and hold it in place until I can feel that it's not going to move. Again, you've already let it get tacky, so it should be okay. And then go ahead and do your inner corner after that. that's it. Then if you want, if you're OCD like me and you feel like they're going to slip off during the day if you don't do this, then you can pinch your lashes together with your natural ones, because we haven't done mascara yet. So we got the lashes on, and now I'm going to go in with Laura Geller's Eye Calligraphy Liquid Eyeliner. This is black, but I think she has other colors. And this is like a felt tip. And I'm just going to go along the edge of the top of the falsies. That way it looks like it's continuous and you really have lashes and eyeliner. Now I'm going to go in with Laura Geller's Drama Lash. This is my absolute favorite mascara ever, so I'm just going to give it one coat on the bottom just so they blend together. So now I'm going to go in on my bottom waterline and do this NYX eyeliner in Azure. This is the Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and definitely a Turn On waterproof Extreme Shine eyeliner. That's the longest name I think I've ever seen. So I'm going to use the same Urban Decay electric palette. I'm going to use the small end of the brush and use my Fix Plus to spray it. And then I'm just going to take each color as it transitions on the top and do the same on the bottom, right under my lash line. And now I'm going to go back with the small end of the brush with the Fix Plus again. Only this time I'm going to go back with the Moonstone. And I'm going to do the inner corners of my eye. Sorry you guys are having to stare in my mouth the whole time. It's hard for me to do my eyes without opening my mouth. Am I alone? I don't feel like I am. Now I'm going to go with my powder brush and set my face with powder. And you don't have to use this brush. This is the one I'm using. This is the Tarte Powder Kabuki brush. Hashtag no sponsor. Nobody's paying me anything, obviously, because I'm new. I don't even have 2 views yet, so I'm not being paid for any of this. And I'm going to wipe off the bake as I go. So we should finish with an airbrushed look. And I do this with my brows, with my powder, as I do my forehead, just to make them look softer and not so painted. So now that we've set our face with powder, we're going to set it with setting spray. So you can use your favorite setting spray. I love the MAC Fix Plus for everything, so that's what I'm going to set mine with. Make sure you don't smile when you do it. So I know most people don't do this, but I really like to because I want my cheeks to look really high, I guess, or skinny. I need all the help I can get because normally I do look like Jabba the Hutt. Okay, this is also a Tarte brush, and I promise Tarte is not sponsoring this. I just love Tarte products. So this is the Tarte double-ended bronzing and highlighting brush. So my favorite bronzer is the Clinique Super Balanced Powder Bronzer, and this is in the color Bronzed 1. And I really like this because this thing spins. If you can see that, it's like shaving it. And then I just shake it to where it's kind of in the middle, and then get some on the bigger end of the brush and tap it off. Then I'm gonna go back to where I cut my cheeks, and I'm gonna do my bronzer. I start on the outside of my eye and go up, and then slowly work it down. Because again, you don't want a bunch by your mouth. You want most of it up by your cheekbones. So I kind of brush it toward my ear and my hairline. Okay, so now I'm gonna highlight, and I'm gonna use the Kat Von D Alchemist palette. So sister says to use the pink one. Again, I'm gonna start at the corner of the eye and go up to the hairline, right on your eye bone, your orbital socket. Can you see that? Can you see this? Are you seeing this? Gerd. Oh, do I look like an angel? I should. Because I feel like I'm in heaven. That's beautiful. How's that? Look at that. Would you look at that? Okay. Vogue. Okay. So next I'm going to go in with the Marc Jacobs Pout Liner in Currant Mood. And Currant is C-U-R-R-A-N-T. So I don't overly outline, but I do line on the outside of my lip line. And I use the liner on the corners because I'm going to do an ombre effect. So just put it on and smudge it. And then I'm going to go in with the Kylie, mine is so old you can't see it because it's all rubbed off, but I use it all the time. This is the Coco K matte lip gloss. And I only do one lip at a time, that way it doesn't dry and I can't move it. Because it dries quickly. So that wraps up this tutorial. Thanks for watching. We'll be posting at least twice a week, so be sure and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Faces of Lace, and on Snapchat at The Faces of Lace. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe by clicking on the button below. And thanks for watching my first video. And remember, if you think it's too much, just put one more thing on. Go dazzle them, doilies! No? I put that at the end. Ah! People are gonna hate me. That was way too peppy. They're gonna be like, who is this? And I'm not subscribing. This is stupid.
Who is outside?
This is stupid.
Somebody's arguing out.
Hey, y'all get out the yard. Making me work.
I'm sorry. Who's working?
Don't laugh at me. Wait, did I do the exit on?
Do another one. You gotta do another one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta think first. I'll be posting at least twice a week. Follow me on, oh my God. And if you like this video, please feel free to subscribe by clicking the button below. Are you making fun of me?
No.
God, you just ruined it. I thought you were laughing.
No.
I was doing good. Is my hair like, I feel like it's attacking my chin. Okay, ready?
Go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. You're not listening, so, okay, I'll just count myself in. Okay.
Go.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. I'm just hitting myself in the head with something.
It was your shirt.
I slapped myself in the face.
Ugh.
I was fixing to say it! My mouth was like...
I know.
And follow me on Twitter. You're so distracting. This is not funny.
Go.
I want to finish.
Go.
I'm so tired. Okay.
It looks perfect. Oh, you know how that word.
Go.
Okay. Shh. Quit interrupting. Interrupter. My eyebrow itches. I'm trying to scratch it.
You're gonna mess your makeup
I'm
up.
trying not to. Okay. Uno más. Okay, I'm not gonna look at you. I'm just gonna close my eyes the whole time.
Okay.
Like, if you like this look, please subscribe.
Go.
Oh.
We're getting delirious. It's so funny. Go.
Stop!
It's 11:30 at night.
Ah, yeah. I can't. Okay.
We spent the last 9 minutes.
At Faces of Lace, if you like this video, no, not at all. Who is that? Who's fighting?
I don't know, but somebody's fighting in the backyard.
Who's fighting in my backyard? This is Texas, but we don't fight in our backyards,
We
y'all.
don't use violets.
We fight in the front yard. So that wraps up this tutorial. Did you drink?
No, I'm
Okay,
just
stop.
tired.
Shh.
I
I'm
need
trying to
one.
finish, but you won't let me.
I need one.
You won't let
Do
me.
you have one?
There's vodka in the fridge.
Are here?
Yeah.
Ugh.
You distracted me.
Ah.
Just be still and quiet. Don't move and don't breathe. Okay. I'm happy now. What? I can't see it. I need my readers. Help me.
My name's Darla.
Help me. Emily, bring me my readers. Where are my glasses? They're on my head. Sorry.
Give me my purse and a pickaxe.
Somebody get a pickaxe and get in my purse and get my glasses. Okay. I floss.
Who flosses it?
You're supposed to floss your dental. Your dentist tells you to.
What dentist? I've been to the dentist in 10 years. I've been to the dentist since I was like a young teenager.
I am mortified.
I've always had healthy teeth though.
You're supposed to have a cleaning every year, ma'am. An exam. I've never had this much trouble saying something. Okay. Well, maybe, but anyway. Okay, ready?
Me.
I'm gonna come in with an entrance. Ready?
Come in with entrance.
Okay.
Oh my god. That was so cool.
Bye. That was retarded.
I just like, that was so much retarded.
That was really fake. We're done. That's a wrap. Cut.